Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. Today we will be talking about the one-sided game between Delhi Capitals and Punjab Kings. Poor performance from Punjab. Of course, I have with me my co-host, the main man Musti, who is still recovering from his sore throat. So hopefully he gets better. I would like all our viewers to pray for him so that he gets better. It's a Ramadan month. I don't want him to fall sick, but he won't listen. Anyway, coming back to the game. Poor performance by Punjab. I think, like everyone's been talking about, no plan B at all. Delhi, on the other hand, fantastic. After all the issues that have been percolating within the camp, with COVID and everything, they weren't able to practice for the past couple of days, but to be able to go out there and perform the way they did. Fantastic job. What's your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, first I have to give credit to you with the way you predicted this Punjab side and what's going to happen. Because after the auction, everybody, including elite panelists, experts, even myself, everybody was saying that all our friends were saying that Punjab have one of the strongest teams on paper. They have the strongest team on paper. They have batting covered, they have bowling covered, they have Kagiso Rabada, they have Rahul Chahar, they have Bairstow, Dhawan, Mayank, Livingston, but it's falling apart. And exactly what you said, Punjab do Punjab things. The way you explained it, I didn't understand it, but now I understand it. Because I understood what you were saying from past experiences, but I just felt this was a new team now, new personnel, and they actually fixed a few areas which weren't there before. That a lead fast bowler, they have a really good spinner as well, but yeah, it's not working out for them. And dominant performance from Delhi. Delhi already issues with COVID and everything. Things were not stable in that camp mentally. I'm sure they were under pressure. Just when an outbreak happens in your camp, it does become stressful. But they focus on the game. They didn't know if there's going to be a game today or not until the
Yeah.
morning, and it would have been cancelled. But yeah, whoever was fit, they were on the park, and they played really well. I think bowling was outstanding, batting was superb as well. The way they finished it, but the bowlers set it up for them. I think Rishabh Pant did a very good job in the bowling changes and field placements, and the way he's backing his players, even though they're not performing every game for him, but he's still backing them. There are some holes, there are some weaknesses, but he's backing them, and they delivered today.
Absolutely, I think from the get go, starting off with Shardul Thakur in the power play to the spinners coming in, even though they were getting off a little bit, they were even though the Punjab were losing wickets, they kept scoring at a decent rate. But the spinners coming in and putting the breaks, both Aksar and Kuldeep were fantastic, I think. And then a meager target of 115, you really can't expect too much out of that. But then the way they came out and batted, we've been talking about Warner. Glory days past him and everything, but every game he's almost scored a 50 now. So he's just been in flawless form. Prithvi Shaw, again, he was very good. So just a matter of the net run rate goes sky high now for them. They can lose a couple of games without, as long as they don't lose by bigger margins. I still think that they have a good chance to make it the playoffs because of that net run rate now.
Yeah, 100%. They do have a chance for sure, and that's the thing with Delhi. I think when they play well, they look so good. When they lose, they look so bad. So it's just getting that consistency, getting that rhythm. And the bowling for me was a bit of a weak point, and they were actually trying to recover. We mentioned Rabada and Oki. I think you mentioned that Avesh Khan kind of. That three-way bowling attack plus the spinners and Ashwin Aksar Patel. They don't have that right now, but they're managing well today. It was probably the best bowling performance of the season for all teams. Getting somebody out under 120, outstanding job, and it's something that will give them confidence. The way that the bowlers won them the game. They do have batsmen who can take away the game, whether it's Rishabh Pant, whether it's Warner, Prithvi Shaw. But yeah, overall, I think outstanding from the Delhi Capitals. Punjab wise, disappointing though. But yeah.
Yeah, I think we're coming to Punjab now. I think there's no plan B. I think lot of people have been talking about this Punjab side playing picking very well in the auction, but that's just half the job done, right? You have to go out there and emulate the good work on the field as well. And the Punjab the franchise is such that when the going gets tough, a lot of involvement will happen. Now I have a feeling that I think that management is already under pressure from the owners and stuff like that, so they have to work harder. And Kumble is under the pump, because he's been given a lot of freedom this time around. I've been told that he has a lot of freedom to do what he wants, so he's gotten his way. And if he can't deliver, then there's going to be questions about that as well. Uh, they have a good team, but they have to bring that Kagis or Abada coming in at number 7 is unacceptable. He might be a decent player and everything, but you have to find another all rounder over there. You tried someone like Nathan Ellis today over Odin. Fair enough, because Odin has been struggling a little bit, but try a Rishi Dhawan. He's had a stellar domestic season. He's sitting in the bench for you. He's a proper, can give you overs with the ball and can
Yeah.
contribute to the bat. Number 7 fixes itself with an Indian player. You remove Odin and you remove and you bring in a Rishi Dhawan, then you can try to see how you want to, like we talked about it, Raja Paksa, maybe give him a little bit more stability in the batting. There has to be a little bit, and when you lose a couple of quick wickets, I think that they have to have this plan B to finish the 20 overs. They've been struggling to finish 20 overs all throughout. It's just unacceptable for a team that has so much power to just go all guns blazing. Yes, on some days you score 180, 190, it's
Yeah.
enough, but you have won only twice now. Out of 6 games, you only 7, I think this was. You only twice, so you only 4 points in the bag now. You have to start checking things out. Otherwise, suddenly you're already now 8, 9, and 10 are looking a distant dream for the playoffs. If you lose a couple more, you're out of the tournament. So really need to change things around for them. Get that balance right, get that strategy right, and get a plan B in place. You 140, you never know. You after that a couple quick wickets in the power play, and you're in the game. Instead of that 115 all out with some 3-4 3 not they weren't overs to spare, but Kagis or Abada came in at 12.1 overs. That's just not acceptable. So they have to be a little bit more careful of that.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the batting order. Maybe Johnny Bairstow opening, try him opening. If it doesn't work, then you get in Rajapaksa and just make a swap. Like, I know it's going to be difficult, but we saw Sunrisers bench Bairstow when they needed to get that balance right. They got Jason Holder in and they qualified for the playoffs that year. Even though Bairstow does consistently give you 50s and stuff at the top. So try him at the top. If it doesn't work, then you bring in, then maybe you just do a straight swap over there. And you have to make big calls, right? And that's what. You might have to change things. But then again, Rajapaksa is that kind of player. He's not going to play more than 15, 20 deliveries. Yeah, he'll get you the 80 runs, but like, will that strategy work? It might, but then you need somebody, like you said, who needs to anchor as well. Dhawan and Agarwal need to take responsibility. So they have to shake things up. And it's disappointing because, they have people like Jitesh Sharma performing, which is big, right? But yeah, apart
Yeah,
from that,
Shah Rukh has also had a poor season so far.
yeah, Shah Rukh Khan not living up to the hype, and I feel that Shah Rukh Khan's a really good player. I don't know if he likes this franchise, like something that I'm not sure about. I don't know if he wanted to be retained,
Well, he
but
didn't get retained, but he got bought
all
for a lot
like
of money. Yeah.
so I don't know if he's the happiest guy right now. I mean, that's just speculation. I don't have any
Yeah, but
information.
I think if you're being paid 10 CR by a team, you have to perform for them, irrespective of if you like them or no.
Yeah,
That's your
no,
responsibility.
I mean, that's no excuse. Of course, yeah, you have to perform for them. Again, strike rate of 60, not acceptable. And yeah, it's just Punjab doing Punjab things. There's going to be pressure on Mike Agarwal again. And yeah, for us, I don't know. What do you think about his captaincy? Because for me, right now, I'm just looking at it. It's just Punjab. It doesn't matter who's captain. But like, have
I think
you?
he's come across as a very subtle captain. I think he's like he has like I still feel like when we saw 2 years back, we saw it was a Pontings team. We would always question Shreyas Iyer's captaincy. It just feels like a Kumble's team. All the decisions are being made by Kumble. I think Mayank Agarwal is the man on the field, obviously, but I think all his plans are ingrained in his mind by Kumble, and that sometimes can go well. Sometimes it cannot go well as well, and I feel like this time it's not really working out for them. Mayank has to step up a little bit, maybe make some calls on his instinct, on his gut if he feels like that. But he just feels like a very nice, like the good boy of cricket. He comes in that category where his instinct is probably. The Kumble's voice overpowers his instinct, and I think he wants to stick with that. He wants to respect a talisman in Kumble. So I think that's probably what it is. But he'll have to start looking at things. And the problem is, you think about it, there's no real other captain in that 11. Who are you going to captain if you want to remove Mayank also?
They
There's
always have
not,
this problem.
huh?
They always have this
Yeah,
problem.
that's the thing. So they don't have
No,
Dhawan doesn't want to be captain.
that's where we also questioned. I think one of us brought this point up. I don't remember who at the auction, that Shikhar Dhawan is not really captain material. Everyone was saying that Dhawan can be vice captain, Dhawan can be captain, whatever. But we saw him in Sunrisers. Like, yeah, he's a very chilled guy,
Yeah,
very good cricketer, excellent batsman. But the captaincy material, he hasn't really shined from what we saw when he was
yeah,
Sunrisers
yeah.
captain, right? So, but you
It
see,
boggles my mind that they didn't try to bring in an Owen Morgan. He was available for base price. He would
yeah.
have been a pretty good pick for them.
But I think the likes of Bairstow, Dhawan, even Rabada to a certain extent, they need to get involved a bit and discuss with Mayank, and you need to have those senior players stepping up. They don't need to captain. Let Mayank captain till the end of the season. But I think you need like some backing over there. And for Sunrisers, you see, it's the opposite story. It's like their team is not maybe as strong on paper, but they have one guy. The leader is firm, and that leader can win you matches with his skills.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most teams, if you look at even if you look like at Mumbai Indians when Rohit Sharma has, he's been a fantastic captain. Virat Kohli, we've questioned his captaincy, he struggled. KL Rahul, we've questioned his captaincy, he struggled.
Yeah.
When you have a solid captain, KKR for that matter last season, Owen Morgan completely out and about, but then they brought their strategy into it. He got the backing from Brendan, I think, and then he comes in and makes the finals.
Yeah.
So CSK won one of the most successful campaigns. Dhoni, the moment Dhoni is out now, you can see them struggling. So these are the captaincy in cricket. I think is very, very important. And when you have a good captain, it automatically percolates down to the team, and you'll see that more often than not, a good captain team will continue will do things better than a team that has a subdued captain sort of. So that's something that they'll have to definitely look into.
Yeah.
I think that wraps it up. Your player of the match.
Akshar Patel. I know Kuldeep Yadav got man of the match. Kuldeep Yadav is my boy. I love him. But he's also mentioned in the post match that I want to share this award with Akshar Patel. I think he deserves it.
I mean, 4 overs, 10 runs, 2 wickets. You really can't. And he got the wicket of Liam. That's the very, very
yeah,
important wicket.
that's
Liam
what he
could take the
mentioned
game
as well,
away.
Kuldeep. But yeah, I think Akshar Patel was outstanding, and it's good to see these two left-arm spinners bowl well in tandem. And even the Kuldeep, the wrong one that he bowled to Rabada, and then the leg spinner to the other right-hander, the way he brilliantly set up. It was really good to see Kuldeep. He's bowling a bit quicker as well now. And normally you want your leg spinner to flight it, but it's working for him, right? Like I think consistently he's bowling the good lines and lengths, and he's accurate now. It's not falling too short. And Akshar Patel, we've seen him like in all formats. This guy on his day, if he gets the pitch that he wants, he will make life difficult for any opposition.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, like you said, Kuldeep is mixing it up a little bit, which is nice to see. And he's worked on his fitness, he's worked on his lines and lengths. I think it's showing, he's put in a lot of hard work over the past few months. And I think it's showing fantastically. More power to him. I think Kulcha back is what we always wanted. I think we tried a few things. With due respect to the other spinners that have been tried, I think Kulcha has been our most, in the recent past, has been our most successful duo. And it's nice to see them back. Yeah, with that, I think definitely would agree with them too. It's like when I was saying yesterday, I'd give it to Butler and Chahal,
Yeah,
but I think here it's similar. But I think Akshar Patel just nicks it for me as well.
100%.
Moving on to tomorrow. Tomorrow is the game of the two most successful franchises that are really struggling today,
Yes.
Mumbai Indians and CSK. Mumbai Indians, I personally feel that are already out of it. They obviously have mathematically, it's still possible if they win their next 8 games and stuff like that. But you have to win 8 out of 8 now for them. It's a tricky situation. It's not going to be easy. And CSK also, have won only one in their past 6. So for them, they probably have one more window of error, but that's it. They have to win the remaining. I think you have to win at least 8 games to make it to the playoffs in this time around. So it's going to be a difficult target for both of them. But I think this is going to be that springboard that is needed tomorrow for them to make that charge for it at least. They don't want to go down without a fight. So both these teams will be looking to get the points on the board and try to take the campaign off and hope for the best after that.
Yeah, I think Mumbai, when they qualified, that time they lost 5 in a row, right?
Yeah,
And it was 8 teams. Now it's
yeah,
10 teams and they've lost 6 in a row.
6 in a row.
It's very bleak, man. I don't think they're going to qualify. Even Chennai, unless, somebody like these teams start flopping like Punjab, KKR, and, even Sunrisers, like they need these teams to lose. Like now you're already dependent on other results. That's what I feel. I could be wrong, but I think you're already dependent on other results and you have to win your games. Chennai, if they can win, it'll be nice for them because that'll be 2 wins in 3 games, which is a bit of momentum. Mumbai desperate for a win. They have to try something. I just saw Instagram. Our friend Punter sent me a story, a reel where Arjun Tendulkar bowled a Zahir Khan like Yorker. Put him in the team, man. Put him in the team. Try something different. It's not gonna get worse than this, right? You've tried Unatkat, you've tried Basil Tampi. Throw in Arjun Tendulkar there. But I still like this Mumbai team in terms of paper. I don't
Yeah.
like, not a fan of Mumbai, but if you just look at their batting, outstanding. I will sit down and watch this Mumbai team, even though they're last, because there's Deval Brevis, there's Rohit Sharma, there's Surya Kumar, Ishan Kishan. This is not a team that
Tilak Verma.
Tilak Verma, yeah, even. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Like, I'm not even talking about their past. This season, you tell me you have to pay to go watch a Mumbai game, I'll do it because I want to see these kind of players, high quality players. And then you have Jasprit Bumrah with the ball. Of course, there's not much support for him, but there's still players there who can step up their game. But yeah, they're coming up against Chennai. Last time it was Pollard who did. I remember last.
Big news about Pollard retiring from international cricket
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, that's big news. I couldn't believe that he's captain and everything.
Came out of nowhere, yeah.
Especially with the World Cup coming, I think it's a very strange time and something must have happened. But I think now the focus will be on these kind of tournaments, and Pollard loves playing Chennai. So let's see what happens. Last time he absolutely dismantled them with the ball and the bat. And yeah, let's see how it goes. But from Chennai's point of view, they'll be very disappointed with they lost the last game. They should have won that. The death bowling is an issue. Yes, Deepak Chahar is a miss, but they will need to find some strength. I think Pretorius needs to play. I don't know. It's a bit inexplicable for me why he's not playing. He comes in, he strengthens that bowling, and they do have the batting there, and they can put pressure on the opposition.
Absolutely. I think Pretorius not playing because when the couple of games that he played in the middle, he was much better than Jordan has been for them anyway, So it really doesn't make sense that you don't play someone like a Pretorius in. You want to keep Jordan, you keep Jordan. You play Bravo, Jordan, Pretorius, and Ali. These are your four foreign options. You go with that because you need the bowling to strengthen up a little bit. Your batting, you don't need batsmen till 9. I keep saying this. You really don't need batsmen till 9. You need batsmen till maybe 8 at the most. 9, 10, 11 can be pure bowlers. It's totally fine. If your 8 can't do it, then your 9, 10, 11 will not be able to do it. So, some things for them to definitely consider, their combination also. For Mumbai, I don't think it's the combination. I just think it's personal stepping up because they really, like you said, yes, bring in Arjun Tendulkar. How much worse can it get? All this is fine, but personnel need to step up. Someone from the bowling department needs to decide. Okay, fine. Today, I'm gonna put my hand up. I'm gonna support Bumrah. You get 1 or 2 players doing that. That's it. You're in the game then suddenly.
And even the batting department Rohit Sharma needs to continue after the starts. Surya Kumar needs to finish off games.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ishan Kishan needs to give them those blistering starts. Even the batting
Absolutely.
needs to step up. There's only one guy right now who's been killing it as Deval Brevis.
Yeah.
And he will learn, he's still 18, 19. What he's doing now is sensational stuff. So I'm not going to knock him down. I think he's outstanding. But the other guys, Surya Kumar, when he plays, he's beautiful to watch, amazing. But it's just about finishing it off, and he's capable of doing it.
Right.
I think even if they're bowlers, both teams have the same issue. Bowling is an issue. Death bowling in particular is an issue. But I think both teams have batting to chase down those big scores. They can cover those 20 runs. It's about those guys stepping up, the likes of Pollard and all these guys.
Absolutely. I think I agree 100%. Your players to watch out and prediction for the game.
Prediction, I'm going Mumbai because I can't see them.
Can't believe them 7 in a row. Yeah.
If it happens, it happens. But yeah, Mumbai, and I think player to watch out for me, Deval Brevis for sure, 100%. And from Chennai's point of view, if Pretorius plays, he's my player to watch out for. Otherwise, let's go with Moeen Ali and see what happens. Yeah, And I remember in this reverse fixture last season, Ambati Raidu had a cracking game.
Yeah.
Even though it was Pollard show,
lost, yeah.
Raidu had a cracking game. Even Moeen Ali played really well. So I think that middle order will be key as well for Chennai.
Yeah. For me, Sky and Dubey.
Sky and Dubey, good. Oh yeah, Shivam Dubey. He's having a good season.
Good season. So I want to see how that performs. Today's game was a kind of a whitewash. So considering our time zones, we have a few more minutes than we usually take for our podcast. So I have a question for you before we let go. We are almost at the halfway stage now. We have half the teams have played 7 games. Some teams are playing 6, but by the end of Friday, Saturday, all teams would have played their half their quota, right? I think Hyderabad is the last team to play the 7th game on Saturday, but I think after that everyone would have played 7 games. So my question to you, your prediction for top 4 on the basis of what you've seen so far.
from what I've seen so far.
I
Uh,
have the table up for you if you want any help. So
Rajasthan,
I
Rajasthan,
okay,
RCB,
okay.
Sunrisers, Gujarat Sunrise. Yeah, so I think Gujarat will.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look, I did not think Gujarat will make it to the playoffs. Never. And I didn't think Sunrisers will.
Me as well. Me as well. And I also, I mean, I obviously said Sunrisers, but I
Yeah,
honestly, in
me
my
too.
heart,
I said it
didn't
because
feel
I
that
was biased. Like
biased.
that wasn't a smart. I'm not going to say I'm a genius. I'm not
Yeah,
that like crazy. I never thought Sunrise will make the playoffs. I didn't think Gujarat will make the playoffs.
yeah.
But I think
I think both of us had RR in our because I think they bought well. I think both of us had KKR. I think if you're not wrong, I think if I'm not wrong, I think we
yeah,
had KKR.
KKR or I think I had Lucknow to be
You
honest.
had Lucknow, yeah. Lucknow is still in with the shout. Seven. They have 8 points in 7 games now. So
But again, I'm going with very very current form. I'm not going
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
things can turn around like this,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, on current form is I have the same exact thing as you. I have RR, RCB, Gujarat, and
Yeah,
Hyderabad as
because
the top four.
if you asked this question 2 weeks ago, we would have said Punjab,
Yeah,
we would have
yeah,
Lucknow, we would have said
yeah.
these things. We wouldn't have taken Sunrisers name.
The thing is, Gujarat can have 5 losses in a row with the kind of team that they have, and they could fall down that pecking order. But I think that they've done enough to almost have a foot in the thing. They already have 5 wins. They need two, max three more out of the next 8 games. They can, even if they have 5 losses, they can win 3 games and still make the playoffs. I think because instead of making first, they'll probably make fourth, but they'll
Yeah,
still make the playoffs. I think.
yeah, I think they've done enough
So
right now.
they've
Like
done enough because they've started off fantastically.
they have
I
to
think
do
the
really badly to lose every game and not qualify. That's
Exactly, and I think Bangalore also has somewhat done enough. They can still lose 2 games and still make it to the playoffs quite comfortably. I think 2 3 games also, and they can still make it to the playoffs. I think the fight will be between RR, LSG, and Sunrisers to make the third and fourth spot. I think one of them will lose out.
third and fourth. So Ishq is in the house. Aman, he's saying back to basics. Punjab Kings. He's a huge Punjab fan, so he's very disappointed. I'm sure. Yeah, let's see. Punjab, they have a really good team. They can turn things around, and this is the IPL, right? Like, Sunrisers started with 2 losses, and then now they 4 back-to-back wins. So if things
Even KKR, they started with a few good wins and they have now
like
three on
good.
the trot
So
that
that's
they've
what it is.
lost.
Like it's about getting that momentum, and things can flip right now. So we don't know what's going to happen. But yeah, overall, even if I just look at the 11s, I think Rajasthan, Lucknow have very balanced teams. Gujarat are just killing, we're just winning games from nowhere. So like it becomes very difficult for opposition. I would just say one thing. I think Lucknow will be a more consistent team, but Gujarat is a team I wouldn't want to face. Like it's strange. I want to face them,
Yeah,
but I don't want to face them.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes
You wanna face the. I mean, Sunrisers won't mind facing because we're the only team that beat them yet.
yeah.
So, but
So
yeah, I
you
get
see
where you're coming
weaknesses
from.
there, and you don't mind facing them, but then
Momentum.
80 or 40 or 80 or 30, and then Rashid Khan plays the innings like that.
Yeah, and the momentum is just something that they love to see. They
Yeah.
are they are riding on that momentum, and I think it'll do enough for them to at least make the playoffs. They might not win the tournament because
Will you
we
be
need a.
surprised if they don't make the playoffs from here?
I'll be extremely surprised if they don't make playoffs for me. I
I
think
would
that
be
yeah,
okay. Like I'll say okay.
bro. I'm telling you, you need 16 points to make the playoffs. I think this time around, right? Because you have more teams, so you need one more game. Usually last season, 14 was okay, but this time I think you to be safe, you need 16. They need only 3 more wins, bro, and they have 8 games left. They've only played 6 games. They already have 10
Lose
points.
five and still make
Yeah,
it.
they can lose 5 games and still make it to the playoffs, in my opinion.
It's interesting. Yeah, then they'll
So
probably go through.
yeah,
But
so
yeah,
that's why I think it is. I think it'll be still a tough fight, but I have a feeling that we're starting to see the difference between the top side and the bottom side. I think one more team will be very unfortunate to miss out, but I think that in Mumbai, CSK, Punjab, and almost KKR, we're already seeing those. Flaws that will probably restrict them from making the playoffs this time around. Of course, anything can change. Form can suddenly change. Someone like an RR and LSG can have a poor run for the next 3 4 games. Someone like KKR can go all guns blazing, win the next 5, and suddenly they're in the reckoning. But you're starting to see that kind of a disparity start to form a little bit.
yeah, and I think Delhi, if they can get Nokia like properly fit and everything, if they can bat like this, they'll also be dark horses for the tournament.
For sure.
They'll
Yeah,
definitely.
I think they're missing Nokia a lot. I think if they can bring in Nokia, I think they suddenly become a different team because if bowling becomes stronger, the batting's doing okay. They need to figure out what to do about Roman Powell. is that an option, or you play maybe a Seifert in for him because Powell has not been performing for you. But they have the option because they're playing only three foreigners right now, so they have the option to bring in a fourth without even dropping a foreign player. So there's those options are definitely there. So some good stuff for them to think about. I'm not writing Delhi off yet, but I think that the other four I think that will struggle are KKR, Punjab, Mumbai, and CSK to make that top spot.
Sound, yeah. I think I agree with that.
That wraps it up for today. Any last thoughts before we call it?
No, I think it's good to see a game today. We weren't sure what's going to happen and finished very quick as well.
I
Yeah,
just hope that this doesn't percolate down to other teams like Punjab now doesn't have problems. I think Delhi hopefully can nip it in the bud as well. So let's see.
yeah. And I'm not the biggest El Clasico fan, Mumbai Chennai, but we've seen some crazy games. So I'm hoping to see a good encounter. They're both struggling, so we get to see a close encounter as well. Maybe a super over. It's been a while since I've seen a super over, so I want to see something exciting from that side of things. And yeah, it's crazy that we're almost towards halfway through the tournament. And
Your viewership is going to crack up tomorrow, irrespective of
yeah,
the position that these teams are in.
and the stadium will be.
Will erupt.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah, it's gonna be because noticing the games. Number one, it's Mumbai fans. Number two, Chennai, very close to, you can say 1-2,
yeah.
and then RCB. So
RCB.
those
Yeah,
are the fans which you see, and you can clearly see loyalties and the backing that these big clubs have.
absolutely. I think
This is their test because as a Man United fan, I know how it feels to lose now. I knew how it felt to win. For Mumbai, this is their test. You need to back your boys when they're down. There's no point supporting them only when they're winning, right? Like
yeah,
then you have Tom, Dick, and Harry also supporting. Like it doesn't matter. Like when you're losing, that's when you back your team as well. Like and
absolutely. 100%. Looking forward to it, man. Let's see how tomorrow goes, and we'll catch you after that games.
for sure. Thank you, man.